is the American Teen Princess Podcast. I am Andrea Schisler, here with my very special guest star, Nina Lowe.
Hello!
We are currently driving in our dearest friend Lily Lumley's car.
That's me, I'm the extra special guest.
Extra special guest over there.
Mm-hmm.
Today, for our very second debut episode, we are going to be talking about fall-flavored movies, alright?
Andrea, would you like to share what fall-flavored beverage you acquired for yourself just now?
I, right now, have a Dutch Bros drink in my hand.
Which one?
It got pumpkin and caramel inside. Real yummy. So.
I got a frozen pumpkin pie chai. Yeah, what'd you get, Lily?
I got a pumpkin brulee caramel thingy.
Sounds delicious. Now, I want to preface this by saying we are going to be cleaning up our act here at the American Teen Princess Podcast, all right? No longer are we talking about such vulgar, inappropriate things on this school-sponsored podcast.
Our language will be clean, and our subjects will be family-friendly to a certain extent.
We are going to try our darndest, all right, to please all of you beautiful people out there.
Please don't report us to the district if that's what happened last time. I get that we shouldn't have used some of the words that we said, but we got blocked, guys, by the district for vulgar language. Anyways, maybe just, be nice to us and let us say whatever we want on here. Anyways, continue, Auntie.
Yes. Our previous and vulgar episodes will be shortly removed from the internet after several incidents, if you know what I mean.
Consider this American Teen Princess Podcast 2.0. New and improved. Got that new car smell.
When we're in a car right now, actually.
We're in a car!
So I think that almost every film is a seasonal kind of thing, you know? There are summer films, there are spring films, winter films, and most importantly, there are fall-flavored films.
Yes, ma'am.
See, most people associate Halloween with horror. And to me, personally, I think horror is an all-year genre, you know what I mean?
Says you fucking wuss. Oh, whoa. Apologies, freaking wuss. You have texted me about a Cartoon Network animated children's series, describing it as the scariest thing you've ever watched. We have been watching a horrible horror movie together, and you've covered your little eyes with a blanket and gone, "What's happening on screen? I don't want to look." You are the biggest
She just gets
horror movie.
She just gets frightened.
I am a frightenable gal, okay?
She's just a little sensitive pal.
I will not be discriminated in this
will not
manner.
Stand for this blasphemy.
I will not. Regardless of what everybody says, okay, horror to me is an all-year genre, alright? And I think that the best Halloween movies are really the ones that take place during fall, alright?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are the seasonal movies, you know?
Yeah.
You can't have, a horror movie set in,
Winter.
the middle of June, right?
I mean,
I disagree. It?
Okay, that's a summer movie.
It's also a horror movie. Anyways. Movies don't even have to, be about fall to be fall-flavored.
No.
They just have to have that aura of,
They have to be orange.
They have to be orange. I have to want to wear a little sweater and have a little coffee while I watch it.
Right, exactly. I think, a good fall movie has, some leaves on the ground, maybe some fog. That makes a good fall movie.
A weird crusty filter.
Ooh, yeah. Nice.
gotta shuffle.
Nice
At
orange
least
hues.
one Elliott Smith song in the soundtrack.
Precisely.
You know Elliott Smith from the Smiths. That's where they get their name.
Elliott Smith of the Smiths.
Exactly. The first movie that I think fits into this category, while also being a horror movie and a fall-flavored movie, is the movie Pearl.
Oh, your favorite.
My favorite, okay? This is a prequel to the movie X by T. West. It's the story about a young woman whose husband has just gone off to war, and she is Randy, alright?
Randy, her marital commitments are not being met
Nope.
any longer, so she is looking for connection.
And let me tell you, she is one wild and crazy gal.
Really? She finds connection in a couple different people, including a projectionist at the neighboring movie theater,
Indeed she does.
a scarecrow.
Which is like one of the most fall-flavored things you can have in a movie.
A scarecrow.
Having a connection.
Having a young woman in braids make out with a scarecrow.
Makes out with a scarecrow.
Oh, she does more than make out with a scarecrow.
Make out is putting it non-vulgarly.
Oh, God.
We're American now.
We're American. What I've realized about Pearl is that she is so weirdly relatable, okay? Do you know what I'm saying?
I think what you are saying is she has autism, you have autism. You see her be autistic, you go, that's me!
Okay.
Okay.
I think there are a lot of people who relate to Pearl in a weird way.
There's a lot of autistic.
So, with Pearl, I've seen a couple of people compare her to Patrick Bateman. She is Patrick Bateman,
But for women.
for women.
Yeah.
And to that, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I, understand men who are like, I get Patrick Bateman because I get Pearl.
I get it. She's hot. She knows what she wants.
She is wild and crazy.
Yeah.
She's
She's what every woman wishes they could do and be all the time.
No, she is really living out every, thought I've ever had, you know what I mean?
You see a scarecrow on the side of the road and you're like, golly gee, would I ever?
Gee willikers, that one.
So yeah, I think that Pearl is a really good follow-up to the first movie, X. The first movie, X, is about it's Pearl, this old woman, who is just so randy that she starts killing people.
This young group of rambunctious young adults kind of shows up to Pearl's family farm to film and produce an adult film.
They do.
And it kind of reignites Pearl into that real randy state of mind of her youth. And, yeah, she goes a little bit bonkers. She maybe starts killing some folks.
Only a few. I watched that movie because Owen Campbell was in it, and I was really into him at the time. And then I watched Pearl, and I was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. And it is absolutely so fall-flavored. It is even grosser than the first one, is something I noticed. It's even grosser than X.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree.
Well, tell me. Speak in plain, child.
I just found the gore in X to be very, gross.
Yeah.
The special effects gore I found, it was real, gore doesn't freak me up. Frick!
Freak you up.
It doesn't frick me up. No, I'm not affected by gore, but, certain stuff, you see it, and no matter what, you're just like, ugh!
Yeah.
And I feel like that happened quite a few times for me in Pearl. The one that comes to mind is the pitchfork to the face in X.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's just because I haven't seen Pearl in a while, but I'm not really thinking of any, really particularly gross scenes in Pearl.
I think there's a lot of, decay in Pearl that's focused on, and I think that was really what grossed me out. I mean, there are definitely a lot worse or better kills in Pearl. I mean, X, but, Pearl, I think, is just, it's grosser.
Yeah.
Worse kills, though. So, yeah, honestly, I'm upset that more people haven't seen Pearl, okay?
I think it was pretty popular when it came out.
I think it was too, but like I ask people about it and they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Lily hasn't seen it, right, Lily?
No. Next Swumba Pod. We'll watch it.
I also think that X is underrated even compared to Pearl. Like I feel like even less people have seen X than Pearl. And I really liked X. I think I thought Pearl was really good in like more of a experimental horror where it wasn't like playing into those classic horror tropes. I thought X was a really well done classic horror.
Yeah.
Where I liked like the amount of tropes it played into without just being like a scary movie sort of deal where it was just blatantly tropey. But I also think it was very well acted.
It was.
Horrible movie.
What are we a whole movie?
It's like literally the scariest movie I've ever seen ever. Literally.
Yeah, but like, I mean, that amazing last shot has been, memed online. And I think, you know how I talk like
Okay,
this.
Grandma.
They're turning it into those maymays and
Putting it in their
book
in their-
faces and their
their
gram
earphones and their face chat.
Okay. All right. Nevertheless, I think more people should see Pearl and X.
both very good fall-esque
Indeed.
movies.
Yeah. And I think there's like a lot of really good Technicolor in that movie. Like lots of homage to older movies, you know? I loved it so much. It was awesome. The next one I have on my list is Donnie Darko.
Smash!
Mr. Donald Darko.
The subject of Mr. Donald Darko.
Please, that was my father.
Call me Donnie. Do you see the giant rabbit? Because I do.
Oh my god, it's over there!
It's about this young boy named Donald Darko.
Smash. I'm sorry.
Played by a young Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, smash!
Real.
Anyways.
So, I watch Donnie Darko every October. I know it is a somewhat controversial movie, alright? I understand why people think it is, like, pretentious and trying too hard. However, that soundtrack,
Ooh!
I think, makes up for everything. You
The
know what I
soundtrack
mean?
alone was
I
very
agree.
fall.
It is indeed. There's The Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen. That's the first song. I think it is the perfect
It's so
song.
good.
Exactly. For that first scene where he's riding on his bike through the neighborhood, that is just like the perfect scene to me.
It's a good montage song.
It is such a good montage song.
I think Drew Barrymore in that movie makes up for it. Except we hate Drew Barrymore right now. 'Cause
Wait,
she's
why?
a scab.
Wait,
hate-
why?
She's a scab. She crossed the picket lines. She tried to keep going with her show without her writers before the strikes were over. She crossed picket lines.
Come on, Drew.
Oh my god.
What a cunt.
Mr. Smith hates her. She's like, she was cute in E.T., but you don't do that.
She was in E.T.?
Yeah,
Yeah, she was a
baby.
little girl.
She's the little sister in E.T.
It's an ASMR show now?
Ew.
Oh, nice. I watch this movie like every October. I think it is like just so gorgeous, you know, and it's strange and it like doesn't really make sense at all.
It's so blue.
It is incredibly blue. Lots of fog in that one. And I think like, oh my god.
I've seen
Just-
it 2 times, and I think I enjoyed it more the second time. I think it made more sense the second time. I think that might be because the first time I watched the director's cut, and I feel like the director's cut is way more confusing.
I hate the director's cut. They don't use the song that I like so much, and that makes me very angry. Like it explains it too much, I think, you know? There's not enough up for interpretation in the director's cut.
Oh.
But, you know, it's about this young boy. I don't know if we explained this already.
We haven't, no.
Okay. Well,
We got distracted.
it's about this young boy who starts seeing this weird life-size creepy rabbit thing who tells him that the world is going to end in a couple of days. And he's, you know, it's up to him to, like, figure it out. But, no, the cast is really great. The soundtrack is, like, just
Maggie
so...
Gyllenhaal.
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I told my mom about that, and she was like, I don't get Maggie Gyllenhaal. And I'm like, she in that Halloween costume that
No,
she's wearing in the
exactly.
Halloween party scene?
I love her.
Smash.
She is so
Smash.
cool. She's so awesome.
Is playing Smash or Pass going to be allowed in the rebrand?
Yes. Yes, it is. I think that is part of the rebrand.
Just know that when we say smash, we mean smash fists. Have a fist
We'll have
fight.
to fist bump.
Fist bump.
Fist bump.
We want to fist bump those ladies.
Maggie Gyllenhaal, fist smash. We'll get that out.
No, I don't think we will.
Fuck you.
Yeah, we all, Lily, Nina, and myself, we all watched this at the Lyric outside.
It was freezing.
We thruple spooned like the whole time.
Because it was
great.
freezing.
It
Because
was-
it was cold as balls.
I think watching it outside was a really cool experience. I think it added
was.
to the whole atmosphere.
I
of
was
the
like
movie.
freezing and I was shivering and I was being spooned and I was
I
watching
felt
the movie
just
and
like
I was like,
Jake Gyllenhaal laying in the middle of the street
No,
in the opening
exactly,
shot.
Exactly, which is like the coolest opening shot ever. All right,
Nina took a really blurry picture of it.
I certainly did.
I mean, no, I love Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
I think this is like the ultimate seasonal movie.
I
Like
do-
I could rewatch it as many times.
I do think it's one of those movies where it has garnered a bad rap.
Yeah.
Just because of how many pretentious film
Yeah.
bros are really. But no, movies like that, like American Psycho, Fight Club, Donnie Darko, where they have been like brought into this like very incel culture.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Of like, this main character guy is a pretentious douchebag, which is what I am, so I really like it.
Right.
And they don't get like the nuance of the movie. So I think Donnie Darko has garnered a very bad rap because of that. Because it's one of those movies that's kind of been accepted into like pretentious bougie film bros being like, no, you don't get it.
No, exactly. And like that's part of the reason why like I'm totally like that, you know.
You're a pretentious film bro.
Everybody makes fun of me for it.
If Andrea was a man, we'd all
We'd
hate
hate
her.
her.
You would be the worst.
I would be the worst, but you know, that sometimes that just comes with having a great taste in movies, you know what I mean? That was satire for those who couldn't see my face. All right.
But yeah, Donnie Darko, very fall.
Very
Very
fall.
good,
Yes.
very good.
Very good movie. Next up on my list, I've got Fantastic Mr. Fox
What a good movie.
by Mr. Wes Anderson.
Ugh, love him.
One of my idols.
Yeah.
One of my absolute, I think personally Wes Anderson's best movie. I think just the voice acting in that
Yeah.
movie is stacked.
So good.
I am physically incapable of hearing George Clooney's voice.
Really?
Wait,
without
that's
thinking-
George Clooney?
That's George Clooney. And Mrs. Fox is Meryl Streep.
I thought that was Angelica Houston for a while. I don't know why. I watched this movie with Lily one time. You remember? We were at my house.
Oh, the one sleepover we had.
But yeah, I
remember that.
love Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I love it so
think
much.
it is just, the color scheme is like the most fall thing ever.
Yeah.
It's just so orange. The soundtrack,
Oh
So
my god.
fall. The score.
The banjo that they have in that movie, so good. So, Fantastic Mr. Fox is based off of the Roald Dahl story for children. And it's basically a heist movie with all of these little critters, you know, all of these little stop motion critters, and you know how I love me some stop motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Fantastic Mr. Fox. I really do think it's one of, if not, Wes Anderson's best.
Yeah.
I think it's just beautifully done, beautifully animated. The story,
It's so tight, you know? Like
it's sweet, it's beautiful. Everybody can connect to it. I had a moment where Ash was like my soul sister. Like, I thought I would watch Ash and go, oh my god, that's me.
No, exactly. Ash,
He's just different, you
I
know?
have it written in my notes that Ash is so baby girl.
She is so baby girl.
There is like nothing better than a character who is just a little guy who
Why
wants.
are you wearing a cape with your pants tucked into your socks?
He is so funny, and I think there's nothing better than a character like who's just a little guy who wants to be good at sports, but he isn't.
And he just like wants a girlfriend, and his fucking cousin comes to town and steals. He's like, thought you were my lab partner. I am. No, you're not. You're just loyal. I can
It's so
quote
funny.
this whole movie.
It is such a funny movie, and I think it's like really easily accessible too. You know, like I think this is the one that like the Wes Anderson movie that most people have
Yeah.
seen.
I think
especially like in our generation,
Yeah,
since
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a kids movie when we were children.
Yeah, I think it's like very Wes Anderson in the way that it's animated, but it's like, because it's animated, it's not like the live action Wes Anderson where you're like, oh my god, this is so Wes Anderson that it's almost overwhelming.
His,
Yeah.
like, his live action stuff makes me feel so autistic. Like, his
It gets me
animated...
real excited.
No, and not like, sometimes it's good autistic and sometimes it's bad autistic. Like when I was watching The Ratcatcher, one of his new short films, I was like, guys. but Fantastic Mr. Fox makes me feel good autistic.
Yeah.
I get my little happy hands and I'm like, ooh, someone get me a sweater.
No, I think it's easily accessible to everyone except for my sister, who is so freaked
She's so
out.
freaking crazy.
She's so freaked out by the animation
She's
and the way that the
scared.
characters smile. Like
Their
she
smiles
does,
are a little weird.
Yeah, she does not like this movie, but I like this movie, so she's gotta watch it every fall.
You do.
Yeah, so Fantastic Mr. Fox, also a great fall movie.
It's just the soundtrack, not
Oh
the
my God.
soundtrack because it doesn't really use like needle drops, but the score is so fall, just with the banjo and the acoustic guitar, and it's
It's so cozy. It's such a cozy movie. Next up on my list, I've got Igby Goes Down. I watched this movie, I think in August or something, and I watched it 3 times in a row. I loved it so much. Okay.
I watched it first.
All right. Well, I watched it more.
That's true.
So this is a story that's kind of based on The Catcher in the Rye, and
Oh, I didn't know that.
you didn't?
I don't read the IMDb trivia of every movie I watch like you do.
Okay. But after I watched that movie, I was tempted into reading, finishing The Catcher in the Rye, and I think they're so weirdly similar. I'll get into it later, but first I would like to talk about this insanely attractive cast. Okay, give me a moment to just appreciate
Out of here.
the cast of Igby Goes Down. First of all, we have Kieran Culkin of Home Alone.
You love Kieran
Oh,
Culkin.
Home Alone! Okay.
He is nominated for an Emmy for Succession, and you're Kieran Culkin of Home Alone.
Alone.
Where he's in there for a total of like 2 minutes with big old glasses.
It's like saying Donald Trump is a movie actor as seen in Home
Home
Alone
Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Yeah.
Kieran Culkin is Macaulay Culkin's little brother.
Oh, so Macaulay Culkin is Kieran Culkin's older brother at this point.
Yeah, that's true. But he was in Home Alone and Succession. I love him so much. I think,
Oh, Scott Pilgrim.
yeah, and Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
I think he is just so gorgeous in this movie. He's such a little rat, you
He's
know?
like
God.
young and bloody and rich.
It's true. He's like, oh my god, the amount of people who beat him up in that movie, I counted. There are 3 in total, which is like a lot for a little boy to be beaten up with.
Also, it's only like an hour and a half long movie.
Yeah, like, that's insane. But Kieran Culkin, he plays this 17-year-old little rich boy. And, he, is fighting with his parents all the time. His mom is dying. He's, acting up a lot.
His older brother's kind of a prick.
His older brother's, like, a major Nazi. And, like...
Hey, young Republican.
You guys are not allowed to say Nazi?
No, that's what he's called in the movie. He's a young Republican.
Nevertheless. He's acting up. He's living with his weird, situationship who's a dancer in her studio.
Oh yeah, his weird crush
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Another really attractive cast member is Susan Sarandon of Thelma and
I
Louise.
forgot Susan's. Susan Sarandon of Witches of Eastwick.
She plays his mom in this movie. And she's so gorgeous. I love her so much.
She's like dying, but she's really...
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Oh my god, Rory Culkin?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Oh my
Okay.
god, I've got a whole tangent about that.
Okay, let's continue.
Claire Danes is in it. Jeff Goldblum is in it. And the young Republican brother is
Sebastian.
played by
Sorry, Jeff Goldblum smash.
Young Republican smash.
Smash.
the older brother of Igby in this movie is played by Ryan Philippe, I think is how you pronounce his name. And oh my god, what a handsome young boy.
He is very pretty.
He is so pretty, and he's making me question my morals, you know what I mean?
You're-
He was in I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know if any of you've seen
I
that.
know what you did last summer.
Okay, alright. He was also in Nowhere, which is one of my favorite movies. Gregoraki. Sorry.
Throwback to our first episode that got blocked by the district.
The episode that shall not be named or mentioned or thought about. Yeah, no, this is like
Very stacked cast.
very, very stacked cast. It's very autumn too. Like everybody's wearing
bless
scarves and sweaters and like there are leaves on the ground everywhere, which is what makes it such a good fall movie.
Kieran Culkin's like shivering a lot.
Kieran Culkin is a little guy and he's shivering the whole time.
It's like a chihuahua during the winter
God.
where they're just like shaking.
Somebody get that guy. Somebody get that little boy a thunder jacket, please.
Get Kieran Culkin a coat. He is cold.
Chili.
He is chilly. Yeah, no, during this movie, there are like flashbacks to when they're all younger, you know, and the kid who plays young Kieran Culkin, I was thinking the whole time watching this movie, geez, how did they get someone who looked so much like Kieran Culkin? And apparently, it was his younger brother,
Rory.
Rory Culkin, and that like shocked me to my core.
They look exactly the same.
It really freaked me out because like the whole time I was like, there is no way they got someone who
They
looks
just
so much.
found someone who looks exactly like the Culkins.
And then I remembered that the Culkins have a lot of kids.
There's a third one. There are 3 famous Culkins.
There are so many, and yeah, no, that was something that really shook me about this movie.
Oh my god! There's another one!
They come out of nowhere, you know what I mean? Yeah. So this is based on The Catcher in the Rye, and I think personally, everybody criticizes that book for like having a main character that is incredibly unlikable. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I have a really high tolerance for like punks, like the main character Holden in that book, and like Igby in this movie.
Just shitty annoying people.
Right, just like.
Oh, I
really-
guess poopy. Annoying. Andy really liked that one.
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, so I have a really high tolerance and like maybe a little bit of an affection for punks like characters like those. And I think they're like really funny, you know?
Yeah.
I think they can be charming sometimes. And it's
If-
really interesting to see like their sort of teenaged angst, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's what makes both The Catcher in the Rye and Igby Goes Down like really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Is the main character who just like kind of really sucks.
I was watching a video essay about bottoms this morning.
Okay, as
And
you do.
one of the things that the guy talked about that I found really interesting was that a lot of like film and TV these days, the characters kind of have this pressure to be like very politically correct and perfect all the time. Like they cannot say anything bad.
Right. They can't
Which is-
have flaws.
Which is good because, you know, you don't want your characters just being racist and shit.
yeah.
But it's also unrealistic because that's not how people are. People are shitty sometimes.
Yeah.
They're mean. They say mean, selfish things. And that's what the guy was saying he liked a lot about Bottoms, was because a lot of the characters in Bottoms were kind of just,
They're very selfish, yeah.
were just like not good people. They
Yeah.
said mean things.
I think that's one of my favorite like kinds of characters.
Yeah.
It's like I think that is really what sold me on Igby Goes Down, along with having like great vibes and a really nice early 2000s soundtrack. Is like just like it's such a raw movie. Like all of the character relationships and stuff. Like there's stuff that goes on with the Jeff Goldblum and Kieran
smash.
Culkin.
It
that
just
like
it feels real.
it really does, and like I really do like that movie a lot, and I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it this October because what a nice cozy movie that also will break your heart.
You want to watch Igby Goes Down while we get ready for homecoming?
Oh God.
Watching Kieran Culkin get the shit beat out of him.
Just
we're
watching him like a bloody in a hallway while we're like doing our hair.
Like, exactly.
Just like that.
No, I love that movie so much. The next movie I have on my list, Witches of Eastwick.
Oh, wow.
Give me the mic, give me the mic, give me the mic.
Go ahead, Nina. Speaking plain, child.
I have no notes, so this is entirely on memory, so it'll be impressive to see how much of this I can just remember off the top of my head. Witches of Eastwick is a 1990-something film.
87.
87, oh, older than I was thinking. Starring Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Susan Sarandon as these three young women in like a small town in, I assume, New England.
It's somewhere around there, like Vermont.
Yeah, New England or like Oregon, you know, one of the two that look like that.
Yeah.
And
You know the place.
I'm just thinking of where all Stephen King stories take place. It's either fucking Maine or Oregon because they look the same. Anyways, it's about these three women who they're all single and they're all kind of struggling in life. They, for different reasons, whether it be like their jobs, their families. Michelle Pfeiffer is going through a divorce. It's all very sad. And one night they come together, they have a little girl party, do some drinking. And they start talking about, you know, the perfect man they want in their life. And they describe him as, you know, he's real nice. He's real hot. Maybe he's got some money, right? Yeah. Just who everyone wants. And then all of a sudden, guess who rolls into town? Jack Nicholson.
It is Jack and Nicholson.
With the most horrible, teensy tiny little ponytail you
It
have
is horrendous.
ever seen on a man. He's like got male pattern baldness and like the highest hairline paired with a teensy tiny little ponytail. And he is essentially like supposed to be the devil in this kind of comparison, where he tempts these women, he makes their lives great, they doink, you know.
They spelunky, if you will.
I feel like if Mr. Lawati can say it, we can say it.
They have sexy time.
Criteria, if Mr. Lawati can say it, we can say it.
They have sexy time, okay? They have sexy time. And, basically, Jack Nicholson just makes their lives way better. But then they start to realize, oh my god, this dude sucks. His ponytail's awful.
Yeah, I've got something to add. I watched this with our dear friend Angelina. When Jack Nicholson showed up, she said out loud, "Ew!"
Which is a very appropriate reaction to the way that he looks in this movie. Not to be mean to Jack Nicholson. I am sure he is very capable of being an attractive man.
Yeah, I think he was really handsome when he was younger.
Something about this movie, like they did something to him to make him like look purposefully greasy and horrible. He is not at all attractive.
No, he's not.
But yes, this movie is great. It's just a silly little movie about these like three women. It's like one of those movies that are very like sisterhood based and like just female friendship and connection.
Yeah.
And they have to like come together to defeat evil Jack Nicholson and like get their lives back from him.
Yeah.
And it's silly, it's sweet, it's like 80s trash camp.
Yeah, it's so campy.
It's like ridiculously campy and silly, and like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like
It's very silly.
It's like the kind of 80s movie that is all vibes, no plot. Like nothing happens.
Right.
In this
but also
movie,
everything happens.
but also so much happens.
Yeah.
But mainly what I'd like to say about this movie is the three main women are so hot.
They are very beautiful women.
And that's all you need to watch the movie for, is Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Susan Sarandon being just so sexy.
Yeah.
And like all low-key being in love with each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of lesbian subtext in that movie.
Oh my
I will
god,
say.
yeah, they are all in love with each other.
We're all pointing at each other.
I'm Cher. Andy's Susan Sarandon. Lily is Michelle Pfeiffer. Make that noise again into the mic.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Next year's Halloween costume, guys.
Yes, I think so. Yes. Great idea.
Only if we can get
Can we go trick-or-treating?
Yes. Only if we can get Angelina to be Jack Nicholson.
Shave her
our little 4'10" friend dressed up as Jack Nicholson.
Give her a little suit and put her hair in a ponytail and
Yeah.
she can just walk around and be...
Yeah. I think this is a really good movie. It's got like a very fun like vibe, and like
Yeah.
The climax of the movie is really funny. The end is really great. I think it is just a classic fall movie.
It's just sweet and entertaining, and it's not like one of those movies that you have to put a lot of like thought into while you're watching it.
I don't do thinking.
Lily doesn't do thinking.
When I put a little movie on the television, I would like to not think about it.
I like to watch my television, have my little phone in my hand, play my Zen match, and just observe.
Exactly. No, it's so funny. It's a really silly movie.
Yeah.
Next up, this is the very last movie I have in the fall list. It is Dead Poet Society.
The cries of anguish unanimously.
I love that movie.
Describe
Oh my God.
the plot.
It is such a classic movie, and like there's something about this just fuck, it's so good.
Frick!
Oh, fiddlesticks.
Oh, fiddlesticks. So this is like Dead Poet Society is one of the greatest queer tragedies of all time. And I'm gonna say it right now, all right?
Cameron and Neil. Not Cameron. The other. Cameron's the other one. One of the other ones.
Oh my god, what is his name? Neil and Todd.
Todd Anderson.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time. So it is about this boys' boarding school.
Called Skeleton.
What?
Skeleton.
Is that what it's called?
What it's called?
Skeleton, apparently. Is what
Because
it's
they
called.
also they call it Helton.
Oh yeah, I thought that. Yeah. So it's about this boys' boarding school, and all of these guys are, having a, they're not happy to be at school.
Yeah. It's like this very prestigious preparatory school.
All of their parents are like forcing them to be there.
It's like a bunch of rich boys. I think it's based in like the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, it's in the 50s.
Yeah, so it's like old school rich preparatory school.
Yeah, very conservative.
They're all learning like Latin and stuff. And
Yeah, but then here comes this, this very nice,
this new boy.
this open-minded teacher.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Todd.
We're talking about Robin Williams.
He's played by Robin Williams. He plays this fantastic, role
English
model.
teacher.
English teacher role model for these kids. And they find out that he was a part of this club called the Dead Poet Society, where a bunch of kids would sneak out at night and go to a cave and read poetry. And if that doesn't sound like fun to you, I'm sorry, you're lame.
A bunch of 17-year-old boys sitting in a cave reading poems.
Yeah, and Robin Williams is like teaching at the school that he went to. Like
he
went to
Yeah.
Skeleton or whatever.
I forgot about that. But yeah, no, and they all like really bond over their sort of love for poetry that they all kind of gain. And
He's very like non-conventional in his ways of teaching, and like kind of breathes life into this like very boring school, and like gets them to appreciate literature, which isn't a thing that like young boys could really can connect with now, but especially not in the 50s. No, 17-year-old boy, like they had just gotten out of World War II. No young boys were like, let's read Jane Austen.
He wants to go read in the woods.
Hey guys, I found a new Walt Whitman poem. Who wants to go sit in the courtyard and read?
no, it's such a beautiful story, and there's a lot of homosexual subtext in this movie, which is just like kind of what sort of makes it hold up today, because there's just a lot of emotions that go into the relationship between these two characters, and it's very, very sad because at the end...
No!
Oh, don't spoil
Okay,
it.
okay, I'm not going to.
If you
But
haven't watched it, it's beautiful.
Something very tragic
You will
happens
cry.
at the end.
You will cry.
You will cry.
But I do think, along with the homosexual subtext, it reminds me a certain way of the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yep.
Where it's just, like, beautiful in the way that it allows young boys and men to show love and affection towards each other, where it just, like, I think a big thing in, like, girl movies, we think, like, Legally Blonde, Clueless, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It shows, like, female connection, like, female friendship. That's a big thing. But it's not a thing as much for men, like, having strong, physical, loving bonds with your male friends. And I think Dead Poet Society is a movie that, like, endorses that. And, like, you can love your friends and
Right.
like be really close with them and feel things for them and like not be emotionless. And I think Dead Poets does that really well.
There's like, along with that, there's just like, I think the whole thing is really a metaphor for conformity, you know what I mean? Like, the whole time they're being told to do something and they don't want to, you know, and it's a deeply tragic ending,
Yeah.
and which really hits hard because I think most of the time it's just these boys having a nice fun time, you know, reading with each other and connecting with each other, and it's a really fantastic, deeply touching movie, and I think it's so good. Like,
I will say, there's a really weird part where one of the boys is really into this one chick.
Yeah.
And he is so fucking happy about it. Frickin'. He, like, goes to her school.
Yeah.
She has a boyfriend, and he's just like, I'm in love with you. Please, give me a chance. Oh, she gets drunk and passes out at a house party, and he, like, really weirdly caresses her face.
and he kisses her.
And kisses her on the mouth until her boyfriend's like, what the frick, bro? And he's like, no, I was just making sure she was okay. I don't like that part. The rest of it, real good.
It's very fantastic.
It's a very gorgeous movie,
It
too.
is.
Like,
It's
the-
gorgeous. Lots of
this-
fall.
they're
colors.
all in sweaters.
Geese.
There are lots of shots of geese flying.
I feel like it is also kind of like a wintry movie, though.
Towards the
Yeah,
end, yeah,
I think-
definitely.
Just really like a seasonal movie. is
Shows
what
the
it is.
progression of
Yeah.
like the beauty of fall that slowly goes into like
Yeah.
the coldness of winter.
And yeah.
Look at that English class analysis.
I say that as a
love
winter enjoyer.
it's a winter enjoyer.
It's almost like the transition to winter represents.
It's almost like it's actually it's almost like the archetype of
That's them transitioning to the coldness of adulthood post graduation.
Mr. GT would be so proud of
He
us.
would be so proud of us.
We should make him listen to it.
God, he would hate us. No, he wouldn't.
I think, this movie actually really got me into poetry. I was into poetry before, but
queer.
Whoa!
I memorized the first verse of "Oh Captain, My Captain" because of this movie.
We're gonna need to call it soon.
I know,
So.
I will. This is, yeah.
You like poems.
I like poems. Good movie. Very good vibe.
Very fall.
Yeah, very tragic, and it's beautiful, and I love it. Very fall. Ethan Hawke is in it too. This is his second movie. Yeah, so I think fall is just one of the best times to watch movies and like get cozy with a bunch of really nice classic films about fall. You know, it is the time for movies, you know what I mean? And it's pretty great. And that's the bell. So we're going to be wrapping it up. Goodbye, guys.
Adios.
See you later, Pally.
I love you.